The crystalline doors of the Imperial chamber dissolved into prismatic mist as David stepped through, his boots echoing against floors that seemed to be made of compressed starlight. He had been summoned, no, compelled, to stand before the Jathiran Empress, ruler of 17 star systems and arbiter of 1,000 conquered worlds. Elsa sat upon her throne, a structure that defied Euclidean geometry, shifting between dimensions as if it couldn't quite decide where to exist. Her form was humanoid only in the loosest sense. 7 feet of iridescent chitin, 4 arms folded in a posture that might have been contemplation or readiness for violence, and eyes, those terrible, beautiful eyes that burned with the light of dying suns. The moment David crossed the threshold, something impossible happened. Elsa shuddered. It was subtle, barely perceptible, but in the absolute stillness of the Imperial chamber, it might as well have been a thunderclap. Her secondary arms twitched, bioluminescent patterns cascading across her exoskeleton in colors that David's translator implant couldn't even name. The courtiers, lesser Jathiran who lined the walls like living gargoyles, went rigid with shock. Their empress did not shudder, their empress did not show fear. Ambassador David Chen of Earth, Elsa's voice resonated directly in his skull, bypassing his ears entirely through some quantum entanglement of consciousness. You should not exist. David had prepared for hostility, for arrogance, even for the casual dismissal that humanity had received from every other spacefaring species. He had not prepared for recognition. "Your Radiance," he began, following the diplomatic protocols drilled into him during 6 months of preparation. "I come as humanity's representative to—" No, the word carried the weight of collapsing neutron stars. Elsa rose from her throne and space itself seemed to bend around her. "You do not understand. You cannot be here. Your species should not have achieved faster-than-light travel for another 12,000 years. Your sun should have been catalogued and quarantined. Your world should have been marked as pre-emergence and sealed behind probability barriers." She descended the steps toward him, each footfall sending ripples through reality. The courtiers pressed themselves against the walls, their translator organs clicking in distress. "But you are here," Elsa continued, stopping mere feet from him. This close, David could see that her eyes weren't just burning, they were calculating, processing, seeing through time itself. "And I know you. Not you specifically, David Chen, but your pattern, your species' quantum signature. I have seen it before." "That's impossible," David said, then immediately regretted contradicting an empress who could annihilate his homeworld with a thought. "Humanity only achieved FTL 3 years ago. We've never encountered your people before this moment. Not in this timeline." The words hung in the air like dropped antimatter. Elsa turned away, her movements suddenly weary, ancient. "I have ruled for 472 of your Earth years, Ambassador. In that time, I have witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations, the birth and death of stars, the endless cycle of species reaching for greatness and falling back into evolutionary darkness. But I have also seen something that few beings in this universe are privileged, or cursed, to witness." She gestured, and the walls of the chamber dissolved, replaced by something that made David's mind ache. A view of spacetime itself, rendered visible through technology so advanced it might as well be magic. "I have seen the convergence points," Elsa said. "Moments where the probability streams of the universe collapse into certainty. Most species generate small convergences, a choice made, a battle won or lost, a discovery that changes their trajectory. But humanity—" her voice carried something that might have been awe or dread. "Humanity generates cascading convergences. Every time your species appears in the galactic timeline, reality itself restructures around you." David stared at the impossible vista before him. He could see timelines branching and merging, probability clouds condensing into hard certainty, and at certain nexus points, a distinctive quantum signature, human, unmistakably human, burning like beacons. "I have lived through 7 versions of this timeline," Elsa said quietly. In 3 of them, humanity never left Earth. You destroyed yourselves in nuclear fire or environmental collapse or engineered plagues. In 2 others, you emerged into the galaxy as we expected, slowly, cautiously, 12,000 years from now, and you integrated into galactic civilization as junior partners, unremarkable and harmless. And the other 2 timelines, David asked, though part of him didn't want to know. In one, humanity emerged early as you have now, but differently. You came out militaristic, aggressive, treating the galaxy as something to conquer rather than join. Within a century, you had ignited a war that consumed half of known space. I led the coalition that eventually contained you, but the cost, she paused. The cost was civilizations beyond counting, including my own homeworld. And in the 7th timeline, Elsa turned to face him fully, and now he could see what her shudder had truly meant. Not fear, not entirely. Recognition, yes, but also something deeper. Memory, trauma, and a terrible, desperate hope. In the 7th timeline, humanity did something no species has ever done before or since. You transcended. Not through technology, not through evolution, but through something we still don't understand, a quantum leap of consciousness itself. Within 500 years of achieving FTL, humans had spread through the galaxy not as conquerors or traders, but as something else entirely. Teachers, healers, shepherds of younger species. She reached out with one of her primary hands, stopping just short of touching his face. In that timeline, it was a human named David who first made contact with my people. Not you, but the pattern is the same. The quantum signature matches. He taught us how to see beyond 3 dimensions, how to perceive time not as a river but as an ocean. He showed us wonders we never imagined possible. What happened to that timeline? David whispered. Ended, Elsa said simply. Something came from beyond the galactic rim, something ancient and hungry that fed on conscious thought itself. Humanity stood against it, and in doing so burned themselves out of existence, rewrote their own quantum signature so thoroughly that they could never have existed in the first place. The timeline collapsed, reset, and her voice cracked, the first truly emotional sound he'd heard from her. I alone remembered because I had been touched by human transcendence. I carried the memory forward into this new timeline. David's mind reeled. The implications were staggering, terrifying, impossible, and yet, standing before this alien empress who shuddered at the sight of him, he believed every word. Which timeline is this? He asked. Which path are we on? Elsa's eyes burned brighter. I don't know. That's why I shuddered when you entered, David Chen. Because your presence here now ahead of schedule means the timeline has shifted again. Humanity is once more at a convergence point. What you do, what your species chooses in the years to come, will determine not just your fate, but the fate of the entire galaxy. She stepped back, suddenly formal, imperial once more. I am granting humanity full membership in the Jathirin Collective, with all rights and protections therein. You will have access to our technology, our knowledge, our resources, not because you have earned it, but because we cannot afford for you to walk the wrong path. The galaxy needs the humanity I once knew, the teachers, not the conquerors, the transcendent, not the extinct. David struggled to process what he was being told. His mission had been simple: make first contact, establish basic trade relations, don't cause an interstellar incident. Instead, he had apparently walked into a temporal paradox that threatened the fabric of reality itself. What do you need from me? He finally asked. Elsa's laugh was like crystal chimes in a vacuum. What do I need? I need you to be human, David Chen. I need your species to make the choices that lead to transcendence rather than annihilation. I need you to become who you were always meant to be. She returned to her throne, reality solidifying around her once more. Go back to your people. Tell them that the galaxy welcomes them, but also warn them. Humanity stands at a crossroads. Choose wisely, or choose not at all, but know that the universe is watching, waiting to see which version of humanity will emerge from this convergence point. As David turned to leave, Elsa's voice touched his mind one last time, soft and achingly personal. And David, thank you for existing. It gives me hope that this timeline might be the one where we both survive. The crystalline doors reformed behind him, and David Chen walked back toward his ship, carrying the weight of infinite possible futures on his shoulders, knowing that humanity's greatest test had only just begun.